You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar. Brought to you by Con Communications.
And this is Saturday, November 17th, and you have entered the Champagne Wishes and Championship Dreams edition of Overtime. 40 Tri-State high school football teams opened camp way back in early August with the singular goal of buckling a chin strap on this very day for a chance to fight and claw their way onto the state's biggest pigskin stages. And at the end of this long, arduous gridiron gauntlet, just 2 teams today remained alive. A traditional power first tuned by the late great Don Kemp and vibrant ever since, and a relative upstart just 2 years removed from its first ever postseason win. Concord, Triopia, and Central Southeastern, the pride of the WIVC, and today the pride of the entire Tri-States, with a fan base from here on out that extends far beyond the mere boundaries of their school districts. Today, the Trojans and the Panthers belong to all of us, but could either of them pull off the monumental upset needed to push the ride just one more round? We'll start with Central Southeastern taking on Belleville-Althoff on the Candy Cane Field today. It is the ugliest playing surface I've ever seen. A tall order for the Panthers, taking on a traditionally 4A, perhaps even 5A power in the past. Althoff was big in this one. Opening possession, though, the Crusaders would move the ball just a little bit until they got near the red zone. That is when the Central Southeastern defense would stiffen. Here it's Douglas Weiss and Marcus Landis with the stop. Then on 4th and 1 at the Panther 19, Austin Roster gets down to the bottom of the pile, helps make the stop. He trips up Aaron Medina, and that turns the ball over on downs. And are you kidding me? Look at how fired up Brad Dixon is. His team playing well defensively early. Offensively, though, struggling to run the ball against this guy, the all-state candidate Eric Fermaniak, who gets the big stop in the CSE backfield. 3 and out. Back to work goes the offense for Althoff, and eventually this ends up here with Dennis Jackson going in from 1 yard out to make it 7-0 at that point. Central Southeastern trying to go up top, trying to make something happen, loosen up that run defense. The play action pass intercepted right here by Michael Magic Hands Harris, and when you have a nickname, you stay away from that kid. Harris with the interception. That sets up this. Eric Mertens to Nick Hawthorne for the big pickup, and yes, that field actually looks in reality like a candy cane or a checkerboard. It's just ugly. No other way around it. That sets up this, the slip screen to Garland Henley, and that, my friends, put up Althoff 14-0. CSE's defense, though, would come to life again. Andrew Shake, you heard from him last week, the youngster making the big play right there at linebacker for a tackle for loss. The next possession, it's even better from the defense. Drew Miller and friends would pin the Crusaders near the 1 yard line. Here comes the defense again. Austin Rossiter, Jared Starman coming up with a big stop. That sets up a short field for the Panthers, and Bobby Keltz goes to work, puts the ball down deep into the red zone, or in this case, the red and white zone, and that sets up this. Off the tip ball, it's Douglas Weiss. Play action, 4th down touchdown. Central Southeastern closes to 14-7. Late in the half, this is Althoff going for more, but look at the great play there by Dalton Hubner to break things up. We go to the half. My friends, 14-7 at that point. Second half, great start to this stanza for Central Southeastern. Again, Seth Leeser to the air, and look at how wide open Douglas Weiss is, going to pick up huge yardage. This drive, however, would stall. 4th down, attempted field goal. No, it's a fake, a well-executed one, except no one comes open, and Central Southeastern's offense can't make anything happen. Back to work go the Crusaders in this one, and the drive continues right here for them. Beautiful piece of work right here by the defense, as Douglas Weiss going to come up with a stop. Bending but not breaking to this point. We've got ourselves a stand. Great stop on 1st down by Douglas Weiss, just short of the end zone. Then on 3rd down, more to come. The All-Stater Drew Miller at the bottom of this pile. Oh my goodness, the Crusaders are going to get stopped at the 1 foot line, 4th and 1. Great play call. You got to give credit where credit is due. Didn't see this coming. 4th and 1. They had the 340-pounder in the backfield as a lead fullback. No, play action, and it works to perfection right there. The play action pass makes it 21-7 at that point. The Crusaders have the lead. Desperate we are again is Central Southeastern going to the air in this one, and again it's Magic Hands. Michael Harris with a pick right there that basically changes and ends the ball game, at least in terms of Central Southeastern's chances of getting back into this one. Nick Hawthorne's touchdown right here on the jet sweep puts the game completely out of reach. Phenomenal season for Central Southeastern, record-breaking season for the Panthers, but unfortunately today they just ran into a bigger buzzsaw, a team with amazing size for a Class 2A squad. Tell you what, this group emotional as well they should be. They poured their hearts and souls into this thing. And it is a record-breaking season, one that will be remembered forever in Camp Point. A little sad today, but when history soaks in, the Panthers will realize all they've accomplished, and it is a great amount, though they lose today by the final count of 28-7. Moving on now, we've got more for you. Class 1A, let's see if the room gets any better for us. Concord Triopia at the Sacred Acre today, taking on Maroa Forsyth, a team that was very highly regarded. Let's take you to the highlights in that one if we can. Away we go to Don Kemp Field. The Trojans came out a-hitting in this game. They would force a 3-and-out right here to start things off, and that would be a beautiful thing for Rich Thompson's team as he was fired up. The defense fired up as well. Look at everybody getting into the act in this one, making plays behind the line of scrimmage. Eventually it would be on Derek Shoney, the newly crowned All-Stater, to clean things up. But Maroa had an answer for that. Jordan Bond, and he is a good one. Wouldn't take long for him to score right here. 30 yards out, puts his team up 7-0 at that point. Next possession, it's Bond. Jordan Bond doing work right here, cutting away from people. This kid can just flat play. He tiptoes into the end zone, made it 14-0 Maroa after one quarter. Second quarter, Triopia driving near midfield, but this is the story of their first half. Miscue right here. The fumble kills the drive. They're down 28-0 at this point are the Trojans at halftime. Third quarter, though, showing some life. Matt Parker, the youngster, picks up the first down, but this drive would end on a failed fourth down. Triopia throwing all caution to the wind. Maroa driving, but look at the defense right here. Cody Curry coming up with a big rip-away, textbook defense. Oh, that's the way Andy Phelps teaches it, and Triopia has the ball back, and they're going to go to work on this drive. Derek Shoney going to do some work on the interior. Big pickup for the All-Stater, showing his heart right here, getting away from many tackles, keeping his balance, picking up 10 yards at that point. Then it's Tanner Huddleston going to the air. For Dakota Longley right here, that's a great combination, and he is running wide open down the middle of the field into the red zone, held up by a shoestring tackle at that point. A few plays later, it would be Huddleston again to Longley, and this catch is just absolutely ridiculous. Dakota Longley is 6'2" of pure goodness on this one. We're going to slow it down for you, show you what this kid does. It's actually like a volleyball play. He bats the darn thing to himself, makes the catch, 28-6 at that point. Unfortunately, Trio couldn't get over the hump from there. Maroa Forsyth was billed as the #1 team in the state in Class 1A. They looked every bit of it today. Nobody beats Triopia like this. Nobody beats Triopia, period, at Don Kemp Field. Maroa Forsyth is the deal, but what a great season for Rich Thompson's crew. They recovered so well from that loss to Central Southeastern, a season of tragedy for that team. Great year. Unfortunately, it comes to an end, so congratulations to Rich Thompson and Andy Phelps on their kids. What a wonderful showing. Up next for Maroa Forsyth, a showdown with undefeated Stockton, who took care of business today against Stark County. 51-14 was your final. Let's talk a little girls basketball today. That is the rest of the high school action we have for you. Western off to the great start, 2-0 already this season, and it is the Rachel Motley show. She had 16 again today in the Pike County Conference Traveling Tournament. Also today, Liberty. Look at Madeline Heyer. This is the second straight game she's had a monster game. It was a near triple-double earlier this week. Today it was the points. She had 22 of them in leading her team past Griggsville Perry. Also today, Jacksonville improves to 2-1 on the season, beating Hillsboro at the Taylorville Holiday Tournament. Jaelyn Keene, she plays volleyball. She plays some basketball as well, had 11 points on the day. Macomb Tournament, rough day for the local teams. The Bombers lose 2. The first one to Plains, 53-40, and the second one in ugly fashion to the perennially good Havana Ducks. Yanni Sadler, though, does make the all-tournament team up at Macomb today. West Prairie having its struggles today as well, losing to Pekin 66-21, and as well to Illini Bluffs. Jen Schwerer was a second-team all-tournament pick, so congratulations to her as well. And we're just getting warmed up here on the big overtime show. When we come back, all the day's college happenings, and later we get up close and personal with the small but enthusiastic motocross culture that exists right here in the Tri-States. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
You're watching KHQA Overtime with Chris Dewar, brought to you by Con Communications.
And welcome back, everybody. Speaking bluntly, the slate of opponents the Quincy University women have faced in the Subway Tip-Off Tournament over the years were as predictably dispatchable as the Washington Generals, which made the events that transpired last night at Pepsi Arena quite the swerve, with the host school relegated to the third place game and Hannibal LaGrange serving as the local team of Gravity in tonight's title game. We take you to that. Taking place earlier this afternoon, HLG versus the Lincoln Lady Blue Tigers today. Yesterday it was all Ashley Spencer for HLGU. Today, everybody getting into the act. That's Ashley Wilson with the turnaround 2 for the Trojans. More to come right here as Trinae Thornton splits the post right there with the spin move and finds her way home. Later it's Thornton again. This time she's going to play slasher, going through 3 different defenders to bank one off the window for 2. More of Miss Thornton. I lied to you. She was good today. Trinae doing it right here as well, popping the 3, the full range of her game in motion today. More to come from HLG as they're trying to fight from a deficit at this point. Ashley Wilson getting to the hoop, absorbs the contact right here and scores. Should have been a 3-point play. She was a bit robbed. Unfortunately for HLGU today, they couldn't quite get over the hump and win the championship, but the aforementioned Ashley Spencer today was your tournament MVP. Meanwhile, Quincy University playing against Lindenwood Belleville. They have the ugly football field, much better basketball facility today in the 3rd place game. Hawks led 30-17 at the half. Second half, how about the super sub, where she's fast becoming that, Erin Menemeyer off the bench again today, this time with a second chance putback. She's been good for the KHQA cameras the last 2 days. Here she does the kick out right here, finding Kara Gerbis for 2 at that point. Maggie Cunningham has also been really good out of the gate for the Lady Hawks. Look at the nice crossover here, dishing to Miss Menemeyer, who's got that soft high post jumper that she hits at that point. QU building a lead and just continuing to do so. Lucy Cramsey, the pride of Liberty, with the up and under move. Good for her. Tough take. More to come from Miss Lucy Liu right here as she's going to go to work with the bucket, the Band-Aid, and the 3-point play. Quincy University atones for last night's really ugly loss to Lincoln. They get the big win today, do the Lady Hawks 71-50 to kind of salvage something out of the weekend. The John Wood women, meanwhile, in regular season action today. Oh, and they would go to work in this one. Krista Allen with a great pass here to Brianna Hawthorne. Hawthorne, one of 3 Lady Blazers today with 10 points. Well-balanced attack. That included Khadijah Sanderson, who also had 10 points today. Look at that scoop shot. Oh, that's sensational 7-worthy. Good stuff from her. More to come right here. Brianna Hawthorne, this time on the inbound. She's going to find Allison Luce with the catch and shoot. It's like fishing, catch and release, and it works well for her at that point. Then Hawthorne finding, oh, it is the pride of Payson High School. Former KHQA Student Athlete of the Year, Dakota Flessner, looking good on that surgically rebuilt knee. John Wood pulls away at the end of this one, gets the win today. Final count was 62-47. Hey, a couple of girl scores I didn't get a chance to mention last night. Wanted to point them out to you because they involved former KHQA Girls Players of the Year making nice splashes. St. Mary's did beat Illinois College yesterday, but former West Central star Tiffany King had 15 points, which was the 2nd high on her team. And how about this? Carly Gengenbacher, former Quincy Notre Dame star, former QU player, with a big showing for Minnesota State last night in her official debut. She had 11 first-half points to lead her team to a victory over Black Hills. Final in that one ended up being 91-60. Now on to the men's side of things today, where the news isn't particularly great on any front. Western Illinois struggling with its offense against the Evansville Aces on the road. The Leathernecks fall to 2-2 on the season with a 49-44 loss. At the Bill Maris Invitational, Dubuque hangs on to beat a very, very good Illinois College team 66-60 today. Des Moines Area Community College hosting their own tournament. They hand John Wood their 2nd straight loss in a row. Final in this one was 59-58. The Blazers now fall to 5-2 on the season. Culver Stockton today. It's an exhibition for Culver Stockton. It's a real game for Central Missouri State, or now just Central Missouri or the University of Central Missouri. I hate these changing names. Central Missouri wins at 89-56. John Gillum, the former Paris product, took just 1 shot for Central Missouri, but did hit a 3-pointer today. Good to see him playing well and getting some time early in his new career at Central Missouri. Also, HLG today, a loser to Northwestern State, 92-43 was your final there. We've got some football highlights for you today. Western Illinois in action, and it would not be pretty today at Southern Illinois as the Leathernecks trying to wrap up their season with a win. That just really wasn't going to happen as Southern Illinois kind of broke away from things. Little quarterback naked bootlegger right here. In fact, these highlights are going to be all of the Saluki type nature today as they simply run away from the Leathernecks in this ball game. Hayden Northern hit really hard right here. Ball comes loose. Leathernecks give it back up, and the Salukis go to work. Final in this one, as I said, we'll keep the highlights short and ugly. Here's a pick 6 right here as well, coming up in just a second. 35-0. Western Illinois ends its season on a sour note as the Leatherneck offense again is kind of stuck in neutral today. One other score to pass along, much better news to pass along from the soccer pitch today. Hannibal LaGrange in the 1st round of the national tournament today, taking on Mo Valley up at Sedalia today. HLGU wins as it progresses towards the national championship with a great opening today. Logan Miller, the pride of the Gem City here with 11 saves and goal. He was the big hero as HLGU gets the win. 1-0 was your final. Coming up next here on Overtime, we've got your Cons Communication Connection for the month of November, our third nominee, plus that great story from Ross Green on motocross in Northwest Missouri. It's all coming up next. We have reached that time here on Overtime where we unveil our latest Con Communication Connection nominee for the month of November. This would be number 3. You know the deal by now. We put up 4 outstanding sports couplings for your perusal, and at the end of the month, you get a chance to vote for the best of the lot. And as an incentive for you to vote, anyone who participates in the process by going to our website becomes eligible to win a prize package from Con Communication. And it's a really nice prize package. People have been very impressed. So good stuff there. Here is your latest nominee. It comes from today. We had kind of a short week this week, but I don't care how long the week was, how many highlights we have. You're going to be hard-pressed to beat the Dakota Longley hookup right here from T-Hud, Tanner Huddleston. Just look at that catch one more time. Again, we'll slow it down for you. Look at Dakota Longley just stretching out, bringing one back in for his team's touchdown in the third quarter. Again, tough day for Triopia, but what a great finish for them. Again, this is our third nomination. At the end of the month, you'll have a chance to go vote for either Dakota Longley, Johnny Lee from Canton Soccer at this point, or also from the great showing on the kickoff return last week from Dalton Hubner of Central Southeastern. These will be our last football nominees, obviously, since football season is done, but good stuff for you to vote on at the end of the month. Well, it may not get a lot of mainstream play or publicity, but for those who have caught the sporting addiction, motocross is the ultimate adrenaline rush. And in Northeast Missouri, a bit of a family tradition as well. Here's Ross Green with that story.
The hills overlooking New London are peaceful on this November evening. As the sun sets, there's a calm silence, broken only by the sound of speed.
It's always been in the family, riding motorcycles and stuff, and I've always rode four-wheelers and dirt bikes as a little kid, and one day I started racing. It was totally different, but once I got to doing it, I started getting real good, and I was a lot better than other kids my age, so I just stuck with it.
The only sound to be heard in these hills is that of Clayton Welder's Kawasaki. The Hannibal High sophomore is an avid motocross rider, as he and his father Alan share a lifelong passion for one of the noisiest, dirtiest, but most exhilarating sports around.
Well, I rode motorcycles all my life. I basically got my first one when I was probably in 4th grade. And when Clayton was born, his mom held him on the bike, and we rode around with him on it when he was like 2 weeks old.
Well, I remember when I was real little, he used to put me up in front of him on his Harley. When I was 2 weeks old, that was the first time I rode on a motorcycle.
And the rest is history for Clayton. One look around his room and you'll see he's gotten pretty good since his first race back in 2007. Motocross has become such a big part of his life that he's even got a homemade dirt bike track in his front yard. If the weather allows, it gives Clayton a chance to practice nearly year-round for his next big event.
We've always just had our house in our front yard and the 3.5 acres right across the road. It was just been for sale forever, no for sale sign. It's just nobody's really owned it.
Clayton's stepmother, Carolyn, said, why don't we just buy that land, and that way we can let him build a track on it.
So we bought it and put a little bit of dirt over there, and I was pretty little, but now I take care of it. I drive the tractors and do what it needs to be done, and it's just something really nice to have.
The father-son duo are diehards for the sport and are part of a much bigger motocross following right here in the Tri-States.
I know back in the 70s there was 3 tracks here right real close to Hannibal at different times, and when the last one closed down, which would have been around the late 70s, there has not been one back since then.
That's the unfortunate trend, however. Despite a large following, opportunities to ride close to home are limited. But that dilemma was remedied somewhat last month when Midwest Motocross reopened its racetrack just southwest of Cahokia after a 7-year hiatus. On opening day, riders like Palmyra's Ray Murray poured in for a chance to take a couple laps. He's another diehard who has helped train Clayton over the years. On this day, Ray is here with his family, as is most everybody else.
It's definitely a family sport there, as in myself. I started riding back in '69. My son started riding, and he's got 2 kids of his own that rides also, and Clayton and his dad, they're just partners continuously. If one goes, the other one's got to be there with them.
It's a real social activity. A lot of people barbecue. bring their kids, and a lot of guys will come and camp out the night before the race.
The family aspect is one of the biggest appeals of local motocross that an outsider may not notice. What most people see instead is the dangerous nature of the sport, but that's why it's important to start at a young age.
Yeah, you got to get them definitely early. That's all there is to it, and teach them the proper techniques, and you got to keep an eye on them all the time, because it's a very dangerous sport.
It's dangerous, and I'm sure I've been a lot more nervous watching him than he is riding. I've talked to several parents, and there's a lot of times our heart's just right in our throat because, we're just waiting for our kid to either pass somebody or, take the checkered flag, or worrying about him wrecking, going down.
No caution flags this afternoon, however, just a great day to bring out the bikes. Motocross definitely has its place locally, but for now, it's more of an under-the-radar sport. Clayton and his dad would love to see it grow and encourage anyone just to give it a shot.
It's a different sport from the usual baseball, basketball, and football, and it's real physical just like them, but it's a lot different too.
Well, I think that if people would not look at it as being such a dangerous sport and more of an enjoyable family sport, that would change their mind somewhat.
Yeah, it would be neat to have more of your buddies and friends in it and stuff, but it's just really overlooked and not a lot of people do it around here.
I would just encourage them to go to a track, maybe with some friends that ride, and just see what it's all about and not make a judgment call on it until you know what it's really about.
Like many area racers, Clayton Welder has aspirations of racing professionally, and under his dad's guidance, he's off to a good start.
He's climbing right on up the ladder. He's a really good rider. He's learning good technique, and he likes the sport. That's the main thing.
He's living out a dream of mine is what he's doing, and I'm just very proud of him.
It would be really nice too, and it's, I guess, somewhat of a goal, but I mean, I don't know, if not that, I could just enjoy myself riding and racing around here for however more long and just enjoy myself.
It's certainly not your everyday sport, but ask any rider from the area and they'll tell you motocross is alive and well here at home. You just have to look and listen carefully to find it. Ross Green, KHQA Sports, New London.